This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
The following is a special presentation.
From the Captain Esports Network.
As we are 1 week away from the Daytona 500K here in Sim500's NCA11 Cup Series, we got to first set the lineup for the Great American Sim Race, if you will. By dueling tonight, 2 races, 100 miles apiece, twin 100s, if you will. If you want to go with the short track term. But we're ready to go here for racing at Daytona International Speedway. I'm the captain. We welcome you in as we are ready to go. The weather has definitely cleared up from the time I flew in this morning, and we are set to go tonight for 2 races. It should be a lot of fun, and looking forward to what is going on. So let's set the stage here real quickly. Last week during the Clash, of course, there was qualifying beforehand. That qualifying set the front row for the 500, but also set the lineup for the rest of the duels that is coming up shortly for you to check out. Of course, Tyler Dalton and Kevin King, those 2 drivers are on the front row. Tyler Dalton scoring what is technically, and I did some research on this and even talked to Tyler, his second Daytona 500K pole. It is his first one that he got by himself. And what I mean by that is the first one he actually tied, and just by whatever default or the way the timestamps went, got the pole for the race. So he felt like, to him, when I talked to him, he said this is kind of the first time feeling, but at the same time it's not. So I can understand where that's coming from. But those 2 rows are set. Now it's time to set the rest of the field, as we've got a pretty good amount of guys here for the first race, and then the second race will come up about 15 minutes after the first race wraps up. So going to be kind of moving at a quick pace here as we get ready to go racing. But right now, warm-up is, well, wrapping up, so let's step away from the national anthem and get ready to go dueling at Daytona.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As always, a great rendition of the national anthem. Right now, though, we got to get the field set. Starting lineup for the first dual race, number 1, Tyler Dalton on the pole, as he won the pole by default last week in the qualifyings before the duel. He will start inside of Kevin Brown there in the second position. Again, this is all the inside row guys from qualifying. Chad Coleman, Mark Jorgensen Jr. in row 2, Brian Wortman, Dustin Hall, row 3. Mike Kelly and Scott Stenzel, row 4. Jimmy Coleman and Bobby Wetzel taking your top 10. Brian Macklin looking to get some kind of luck here, as he pretty much wrecked on the first lap of every race last week in the class. He starts 11th in his quest to become the 4th straight time winner of this Daytona 500K race. Justin Maughan's going to start there to his outside. As we look at the rest of the starting lineup, you see Patrick Colby and Matt Rodolasso, Mike Peters, Scott Simley, Richard Beasley, Rod Mitten, Patrick Wendell, Jose Gonzalez, Glenn Campbell, Adam Benefield. Going to be the 22 starters that will start this race. And the race information, as I mentioned, is the iRacing default weather, 79 degrees. 44% humidity under partly cloudy skies here in Daytona for race number 1 of the duel. So let's get ready to go green for the first 40 laps here. As you see, Tyler Dalton is taking the outside lane as we come to the green flag. 40 laps of racing. Let's set the inside row for the 500. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. Check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums. You see side by side into turn 1. As Dalton goes out to the front with help from Jorgensen there in that National Guard 88. And let's see who's going to lead lap number 1. This could be a good test to see how these cars go. They were kind of ugly last week, and let's see if these guys have gotten the hang of their cars here as Tyler Dalton goes up, blocks the top row. Dustin Hall then outside as he leads lap 1. Continuing to kind of try to block both lanes, so to say, play defensive. The moves, he's got that top side roll, and that's the one thing I did here last week was that top side seemed to be the way to go eventually as the tires wear out. He's kind of controlled right now. Scott Stenzel there behind the one car. Also, Bobby Wetzel up there in that top side. You see Brian Macklin, also a good little crew of guys. You see that inside line is kind of falling apart here a little bit. It might be one of those choo-choo trains about to form up on the top side. Everybody's kind of committed to run here for a little bit. There you see one car coming. I think that's Kevin. Surprised to see this with the weather. It is default, but yes, it is also hot when it comes track temp-wise, over 120 degrees right now in the sunshine. That inside line down there, that is Chad Coleman in the red and black BD diecast. Got Brian Wortman back there pushing him. Jimmy Coleman, there's the 92 car. Rod Mitten. Got John Cena on his car. The car's kind of dancing a little bit there. You see Beasley behind him. Scott Simmons. These cars just trying to roll right now and just get to that lap 25, lap 30 mark so you can start making moves. As you see, he sets up. You see him get that inside line rolling as they were starting to get some momentum there with Coleman. One thing though is the pushing in this car is very dangerous, and Coleman's going to split Stenzel and put him in the middle 3 wide as Kevin Brown drops down now. Just like that, I say they're riding. Yeah, not so much. Of course, the captain with you on this Monday evening. Kevin England off on a previous engagement tonight. He'll be back next week for the big race. You see Coleman. This is the perfect race for those to be in race number 2 to be in this race because, or let me reword that. For those in race number 2, better for them to watch this race. There we go. And that's because you're learning right now. You see Stoney Medfield mentioning it in the chat. Highline working. Something that he's starting to notice right now. You see the bottom line come to work now. As Kevin Brown and others starting to work that bottom with Coleman and Workman. And Jimmy Coleman down there in the bottom also. Complete. Everybody pretty much hanging on to the pack. Mike Peters, the one car that is out of the draft here in that Raising Cane's car, 22nd position. Actually on pit road. Richard Beasley, the previous Super Speedway Series champion. You see the 92 working his way to the front now. For a split second, and then Tyler Dalton took over. And now Chad Coleman trying to make moves there. I don't know if that was more a block or if Kevin was going up. might actually be the cars being too hot. I'm noticing now. Good call. Thanks, Jace. Oh, one car heading for the apron. And off the track, it's the 41 of Mons. He's able to save it. Let's see if he can catch on and hold on to the draft here. Complete as Brian Wortman gets pushed to the front. Into the wall. Here they go. Big pile up to 26 of Gonzalez. Kevin DeBrown. Adam Benefield with some damage. And Kevin spins himself there. I don't know what happened there. Caution out for the first time. Get you a better view of what just took place there. All right, so there's the one, Dustin Hall up there on the front, top side there. He's got Benefield and Kevin Brown, Chad Coleman trying to get that line rolling. Oh, and they get to the left rear. You do not want to get to the left rear of a car. A lot of beating and banging. One car almost goes over. The aggression early here in this 40-lap race. And caution comes out for the first time. Get you a better view of this, but yeah, you can push from the middle, you can push right rear, you cannot push left rear. That's something I think. You look at Kevin Brown and his pushing, his aggressive pushing, and I'm not putting this on him at all. But you get somebody like Kevin who's pushing from the back there, and it gets Benfield out of shape, but gives him momentum at the same time. All of a sudden, bam, he's at the left rear with Dustin losing that momentum. So I think that's going to be a tricky spot come next Monday night that you're going to have to be very careful. With the pushing, especially when there's a car in front. And I think Wesley Donaldson hit the spot on here. Let's go on board with the 38. He had a pretty good view of this. Chad Coleman. There you go. Sporty move there, I'd say, huh? All right, Brian Wortman leading in Daytona as we're under caution here for the first time. And we'll step away and hear from 811 real quickly. And I'll come back and get you more racing. It's the duels at Daytona on the Captain Esports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below. Before you dig, visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here at Daytona. 13 laps complete in the first duel race. Let's we're gonna drive her up here. Who's gonna run in the second race? And I think let's bring Wes up here. The winner from the Clash, Wesley Donaldson, as we'll bring him up here as we get ready for the restart. Wes, obviously a little bit of learning to do here. Not only you're kind of helping run the show tonight because Joey's not here tonight, but at the same time, you got to do some scouting here for this race.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, especially being in the second duel, just to get a little bit of a view of what's going on. I say between watching those heats the other night, and I watched the whole FTF 500 the other night, just kind of taking it all in, seeing what pushes work, what pushes don't, and yeah, it's nice to get a view of it from above.
So what did you see there? Obviously, that wreck, it looked like just a push where Kevin gets into the back of Benefield trying to push him, and it looked like it got Benefield out of shape, and just that slight movement to the left took the momentum off of the one car, and as Benefield got the run, he got to his left rear and spun him.
Yeah, it looked like when Kevin made contact, he was kind of moving up the track, which sent Benefield kind of down to the left a little bit and into the left rear of the one, and just kind of set things off. I noticed a lot of people, even in practice, were trying that kind of like pushing the pusher kind of deal, because it does kind of move the front car out of the way if that's what you're actually trying to accomplish. Right. But in the corner like that you're kind of asking for trouble, especially as you're kind of nearing corner exit there.
Well, obviously tonight, setting the lineup for the race coming up here next Monday. But for you last week, how cool was it to put the car in victory lane? I mean, it was an exhibition race, but still to grab that victory.
Oh, it was fantastic. Like I said last week, I've not been in victory lane in a Premier Series race before, whether it be with the Trucks Xfinity or the Cup car. Just being able to do that, even if it's not in a points race, was kind of getting a little bit of the monkey off the back, as you'd say. But I think that's a sign of things to come. At least, yeah, get that one out of the way. So hopefully, can win some more.
Oh, you're going to be taking some notes here. As we got 3 wide, we got a modified sitting in the second in the bottom lane there, Kevin to Brown. As Wortman tags the outside wall with help from Jimmy Coleman, it looked like at first that Wortman maybe had too good of a start there. And now Coleman's blinking out a little bit, but almost had too good of a restart. He and Coleman got ahead, but then you saw the 10 and the 38 almost able to tag team them.
Yeah, and that outside lane is really dominant. I noticed that watching the FTF 500 too. So once you get that outside lane rolling, it's hard to stop. But another thing I kind of noticed too between last week and this week is cars will be bouncing off the wall, and I don't know if it's just from like the recent areas have been a little weird, but it doesn't seem to be slowing people down too much. So it makes things kind of easier on the high lane.
Did they maybe get rid of the suction cups finally?
It feels like it a little bit, but I can't tell if some of it's maybe just kind of it's like a netcode lag situation, but there are definitely people that were bounced off the wall. I remember we were 3 wide, however many rows deep last Monday. I was bouncing off the wall sometimes, but it didn't seem to be hurting that much.
Right. Interesting. Well, that's something to learn here as you watch Wortman getting aggressive up here. I'm kind of impressed by that. But have you been around anybody necessarily? I know you hang out in the Mafia channel, but has there been anyone in particular you've been able to kind of get with and you're like, all right, I'm very comfortable with this car?
I can't necessarily say anyone in particular. I would say the nice thing.
Sorry, just saw Mons get out of shape back here in the back, and they're spreading out.
Yeah, the nice thing this time around compared to where I was at last year is I didn't really have too many friends out here at the start of last year. I was kind of just a loner at the time, but now I've kind of got I've got all of the Mafia channel, and then team names kind of almost become teammates at this point, with most of them having my sponsor on the car. So I know pretty much no matter where I'm at in the field, I got somebody I can work with now, which is it helps a lot when it comes to these races.
So what I just got out of that for those watching is he just has a political hybrid team now of about 10 team name members. Oh, Kelly giving a bump to that 28 car in the middle of the corner, almost got him sideways. And about 10 members of the Mafia, so about 3/4 of the field.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got that pretty well. Nice job, man. Well, hey, we'll let you go get ready for the race. Wanted to bring you up for a couple minutes, but congrats on the Clash win. And Let's see if we can go get two. Oh, there they go into
there
the
they
wall.
go.
Never mind. Is that Kevin that just got turned into the wall?
Yeah, that was Kevin again.
Somebody must not have told Kevin that he's got no nose. Now he's got a really banged in nose. So, all right, we'll let you go do your thing. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Wesley Donaldson, the winner of the Clash last week, as caution number 2 comes out. And I think now that thing is cooked. Should mention Dustin Hall took his one car behind the wall also in the last accident. That looks way too familiar. Yeah, I mean, look at Kevin out in the air, just has nothing. I mean, it literally, he must not have known he had no nose because he is getting pushed and he's just literally slowing up. I mean, 28's all over him and I'm going to keep away from the Dale jokes. But just a rough one there for Kevin Brown, who's going to take his car behind the wall, and we're actually going to talk to Kevin. Who has been released from the infield care center as Kevin Brown, unfortunately involved in 2 wrecks here tonight. Kevin, were you aware you had no nose?
I was being told by Beasley. He was surprised I didn't pit, and I was like, "Well, I have all my RPMs. I'm good." And he's like, "You have no nose, dude." And I was like, "Huh, okay." It kept up.
When you got out in the clean air, though, did it feel like a parachute came out?
I don't know if more so that or what. I noticed when I was letting out the gas, it was like pulling really hard. Normally, it wasn't doing that when I had the whole, everything on the car. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, honestly.
Did you learn enough in that race? Obviously, you're going to be starting back around, depending on how many cars show up. I mean, I've heard as high as 48, so you could be somewhere between like 37th and 45th in the race come next Monday night. Did you learn enough to be able to work your way through the field?
Oh yeah, we'll be all right. It's gonna be a long race, so we'll eventually survive, hopefully.
All right, man. Well, hey, sorry to see what happened to you there, and we'll see you next Monday night, buddy.
Appreciate it, bud.
You too. Kevin Brown, unfortunately, out of the race, and said it didn't feel really much different. Interesting. All right, we're halfway into the first duel. One of my jokes I like to say here is, don't know if we're halfway started or halfway finished. Who we got watching tonight? Stoney and Chad. Joey Jatina checking in from wherever he decided to hang out tonight. Matthew Cloquet. Alan Wild. A lot of these guys going to be running in the second race. Tom McBurrito going to be spotting in the second race tonight. So appreciate the viewers watching here this evening. Hopefully everybody's had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the big game and the parties that you might or might not have been a part of yesterday. I wish there was a way I could phone in to Kevin, interrupt his event that he's at tonight. For those who don't know, he's actually at a hockey game. The was it Seattle Kraken and New Jersey Devils are playing. War, aka Casey Carrington, joining in chat. Well, never take the ball in overtime in college. Now, Let me think this through a little bit. Yeah, I guess maybe now in the NFL with that new rule. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I would have to now agree with that. Good call. All right, so Richard Beasley leads. A lot of these guys up front have not pitted yet. And you can easily go the distance on fuel. But needless to say here, the tires are what could play a role here. But, I mean, this is the race to do the experiment in. I mean, you had a little bit of the clash. And now you got this race where you can kind of see what you have in the car. As you come to the green flag here, 20 laps to go, halfway into dual race number 1. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Captain Esports Network as we go green. Beasley on the outside there with Chad Coleman. Team name going to work together and hang Bobby Wetzel up there at the top. But look who's lurking. Mr. 3-time, Brian Macklin. Positive here is he made it past lap 1 in both races. Or tonight, I should say. He was not able to do that in either race last week. Wetzel thought about pulling out of line and this time gets behind Beasley, which probably is a smart move on his part because he probably knew that Wetzel was going to get hung out as Coleman would stay behind Beasley. Now with help of Macklin, here comes the Valvoline number 9 to the front. And look at that third car inside lane. That is Mike Peters, who started the race on pit road. Lost the draft, caught the couple cautions, and now is up. Whoa, Macklin about went digging. Make sure you call before you do that, as he is now stuck in the middle and making contact with the 88. A little bit of net code there. Force your way up there, young man. Justin Mons coming up the middle. Look at this run for the 41. Oh! Hits the 88 there. Two cars go over the same piece of real estate right there. And they saved it. The good news here is they always say in racing, the first duel is always different from the second one. This one's been a little on the wild side. Are we going to see a more tamer duel out of you guys over there? I mean, chat, you can answer that question. When you guys are racing, you guys going to stay calm out there, or are you guys going to do it better? Are you going to be like, hey, hold my beer first, race, let's go? Look at the Exalta duo up top there. 2 and 12, Simley and Kelly. They've won everything in Daytona so far in a truck and the Xfinity side as a team. And they pull out the sweep in the Cup car. Patrick Colby and the Gray Ghost back there has lost the draft. Oh, that's not the Gray Ghost. That's the green mod. For some reason I thought the 28 was the Gray Ghost. I got it mixed up with the monster car. Speaking of the mods, I saw earlier the 602s running over at New Smyrna. Having a little bit of a crash fest. Top side working. Am I wrong? I mean, you guys can chip in here and chat. Seems to me this top side might be the strongest part. Now, I've seen a lot out of the bottom, but it just seems like this top is, if it gets enough of a train rolling, it gets it. And 15 to go. Can't help but wonder if some of these teams, I'm looking in their channels right now, drivers that aren't necessarily in a race right now, how much they're maybe working together, like they're kind of spotting for each other and that kind of thing. Let me pull David Comstock here for a minute as they're getting racy here. Let's pull up the other monster driver here, David Comstock. David, you got a cop, bud?
Hey, Chris. How
Hey,
you doing?
good, man. Figured I would ask you the question here. How much, with you watching right now, are you helping your team name guys? Are you sitting there actually spotting? Well, now you're not, but were you spotting for somebody at that time as Wetzel gets in the wall and we're wrecking? Wetzel and Gonzalez. Go ahead, though.
Pretzels meet meatballs. Yeah. I was spotting for them until you pulled me up. So,
Well, I mean, I figured I'd talk to some drivers since it's me, myself, and I tonight. But what have you learned so far here? I mean, is there necessarily a stronger groove? Last week it seemed like there was, but tonight I see the top working, but I see the bottom working if you can get organized.
true. Yeah. I mean, it seems to be just, it depends on how the lanes are pushing, how tight they are. Pusher, if they're getting hot first as far as overheating goes, and trying to manage those temperatures to be able to keep the momentum going. So it seems like, I mean, I still want to say if we're packed up and everything, the middle, or at least the outside lane, seems to be the spot to go. If, you get put in the middle in the sucker hole, you're going to the back. But if we're all fanned out 3 wide, 12 rows deep, I don't know. I mean, it seems like sometimes on the back straight off of 2, you get major runs on that very top lane. So kind of just if it comes down at the end, you just got to block where they're at, wherever they're at. But overall, I feel like a lot of momentum seems to hold the middle better. You can still gain grounds on the bottom, but again, it's just however many guys are lined up and how tightly packed they are will dictate that a lot too.
So obviously, looking at the replay there, it looked like obviously the 9 got stuck up in the wall a little bit and then pulled down to get off the wall, and a little bit of net code into the 26 there, which brought the caution out. But yeah,
I guess his dough might have been a little bit soft still, and he yanked it off the wall, and it just caught it by surprise or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just Daytona basically. But so it kind of, I mean, because you get to this part in a race, and then you get your race coming up where it's almost like you use tonight to kind of put your car in places to learn what you would do in that race next Sunday or next Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing we did the previous week when we had the clash here. So, every chance we can get on track and learn some different things, new build, we haven't ran a plate track since we had the refresh build over the winter here too. So, just learning all the little nuances about this drafting package and where the car is currently at, and what works and what doesn't work. And, as much as you want to, get a good starting spot, if you're able to run some strategy, you can still have a chance to work your way to the front when it comes to next week's big race. So, we're definitely going to go and try some stuff, hopefully not wreck, and try some stuff, see what works, what doesn't work, and keep that in the memory bank, and have a notebook built for next week so we can have a shot to put the Monster Energy car in victory lane.
Season goals. Obviously, last year you were one of the big 3, if you will, especially up to the part where Pedro said, no, it's just big 1. You 2 are in the middle. Basically,
that was all year.
Hey,
he's just that good.
At one point, you guys were all right there wins-wise, but credit where credit's due. But what to get that next step? Do you feel like Pedro's part-time now? It's like this is your chance to go get this championship, or is there any kind of other goals that you'd like to accomplish during the season?
First and foremost, I'd always want to just have fun with what we're doing here. If I'm not having fun, then it's not worth for me to come on here and invest the time and money to do this. So had some equipment upgrades that I did, fought some ailments with my pedals, where I've had not the smoothest calibration or response out of the pedals, where sometimes even I would have to undercalibrate my throttle and shorten up the throw on the. So I think I had overall about a 3/4 less throw than what was the physical pedal itself. So my wide open was way early physically, but in the game, even though I had room to still press the pedal down to wide open, I had to undercalibrate it so I can get full throttle early.
Right.
Otherwise, it wasn't going to register it, and I was going to be running around like 90% throttle and running way slower. So, had some ailments and stuff that I've been battling off and on for almost about 2 years now, and just had the opportunity to make some upgrades, and been working on through the off season and getting used to how these feel, and more seat time, the more comfortable, and the better I get. That can play into a factor as far as my consistency and Not that these cars can be throttle sensitive as far as spinning the rear tires, like when we had a lot of horsepower, and we had 800, 900 horsepower a few years ago. But still, just having that consistency when you jump in the throttle and you can have a smooth input. These cars seem to drive a lot of times more on the nose, so if you're not kind of driving, through your front tires as much, if you're able to have a smoother initial throttle input.
Which is interesting. I had that similar shit at Momo wheel when I first started in iRacing, and had that where after a while it stopped going 100. This was like 12 years ago, so I know the feeling.
Oh yeah, the old potentiometers with the basic spring and everything. We advanced so far from there.
No kidding.
It's amazing to see where we're at.
So 3 wins, 13 top 5s, 21 top 10s with a 95% wheel. So that's pretty good, I'd say. So
pedals, yeah,
pedals,
and probably 80% driver too.
Well, hey man, best of luck tonight, and best of luck this season. Appreciate you coming up and joining us, and drink a monster for me.
Oh, I will. Thanks.
All right, buddy. As David Comstock going to go spot first people there as we wrap up a caution. And Mike Kelly, Scott Simley with the front row now, as we'll come back to green with 10 laps to go in Daytona. Who's going to go to victory lane? Who's going to wad it up? Checkers or wreckers? Thank you, Casey, for the graphic compliments. Also, thank you for your help. You did help me too. Give you that. You and Mr. Telder and whoever else. Tyler Dalton actually helped me out too. You see the 2 and 12 up front. Brian Macklin now joining the battle. Tyler Dalton, one thing we didn't get the chance to mention there when that wreck happened, how close he got to being involved. Thankfully, unless there's something I don't know, thankfully there's no backup car rule in Sim500. Or else that 19 car could have went from the penthouse to the outhouse pretty quickly in a backup car. Beasley almost got to the left rear there, Coleman, or of Macklin, sorry. Coleman there behind Beasley. Oh, do you see the cars dancing? Macklin, or here I'm getting names wrong. Wortman falling to the back there. He's got the modified there of the 28 on the bottom. The air moving these cars around a little bit, along with the, of course, the air on the cars, the draft package. Most of the draft in these cars and trucks, you can get about 1.5 seconds or so, and you're within the draft. These next gen cars are different. You got to be within about 6 to 7 tenths of a second. As there goes somebody around in the back. World's strongest car, Mark Henry, and Patrick Blundell has gone around, along with Matt Rodolisso. I think we had a wrestling match break out between teammates here, and we stay green. Colley's too big for the cars there, Case. What do we have? I saw Shawn Michaels last week. Oh, there they go. Trying to go 3 wide. Mons gets into the 54 of Coleman, and that's going to bring a caution out. Chad Coleman's in it. There's John Cena. Will not be able to get his 5 moves of doom in tonight. Wortman clean, it looks like, and others. Tyler Dalton, does he have damage? Well, what? I saw damage on that 19 car, but it looks like he's okay. Let's See what happens as we got closer to the end here. 5 laps to go. Saw Mons try to get to the inside of Coleman here. And well, he went to a Coleman sandwich. And once again, net code. Scott Stenzel getting involved. Aaron Thomas saying he's performing better in the Indy cars. They are fun cars to drive. You can get used to them. Oh, look out. Rod Mind about to go. What no? Something tells me that'll make the Sim500 comedy hour after the race tonight. And Chad Coleman again. By the way, a little spoiler. Chad Coleman looks like will be the guest on the Scalicast this week. We were going to record it tonight, but well, I don't want to jinx anything yet, but a special event might be happening tonight for one of our hosts. All right, so caution out again. All right, so here's how the process is going to go. When we come to the end of this race, it is not set up in heat races. It's actually set up in 2 different sessions. There's actually a second session set up right now where the other cars might be over there practicing. I'm not sure if they're just hanging out or what they're doing. But we're going to talk to at least the winner of the race tonight and maybe the top 3 in this first session or whatever. And then we're going to jump out of this session and into the other session where they will go green, and we'll get the second dual race on here tonight. And of course then the starting lineup will be set for the 500K next week, and we hope you can come join us. Bring your friends, bring everyone. Let's have a big crowd next week for the Daytona 500K. I know Stoney will have his friends out here. Might have to go buy a t-shirt tuxedo type looking thingy. Oh, by far. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Casey mentioned the highest viewership start. I've had every league has every league the numbers have just climbed. And the only things I've done, I mean, I've done the upgrades, obviously, but I really haven't done much different. So I say thank you. I appreciate it. The numbers being up there. And, of course, we're seeing more subscribers. If you're new to the channel, by the way, hit subscribe. You know, I know we've had a couple of big-time... Yeah, I think it's a good point there, Casey, about the one can in. Plus, yeah, now, you know, obviously being a partner of YouTube's also. But, you know, obviously the racing out here is phenomenal. And in all the leagues I have. And, who knows what could be coming next in the future. But, yeah, I'm honored to be a part of this. And the best thing I can ask from you guys now is to share it. Share the word with everyone. I know there's been a couple of downfalls that have happened here in the last couple of weeks with a couple other kind of leagues, I guess, so to say, or whatever. But I will say this, Sim500 might be the best, if it wasn't already, the best Monday Night League now around. Just saying. All right, going to come to the green. 3 laps to go. And you got the 2 cars, teammates from the Turn 1 Heroes. That's what the forums are for, Casey. He said we need an iRacing gossip site. That's what the forums are for on iRacing. That's the gossip. Just go over there. And you got Facebook pages all over the world that have stuff like that. Come on. Or Discord. All right, coming to the green. Mike Kelly on the inside. Scott Simley outside. Brian Macklin, three-time Daytona 500K winner, sitting there on the inside lane with Mark Jorgensen. On the outside, you see right off the bat there goes Kelly to the top side. Oh, yeah, outside's looking pretty organized right now. Justin Mons has been involved in about 3 of the accidents, and here he is, 4th car outside lane, surviving. Up the middle comes the 42. Oh, here comes Mark Henry, topside again. Oh, Simley on the back of Kelly. There's a move by Macklin who goes to the front. Oh, if he wins this race. Oh, and the 95 gets shuffled. Here comes Dalton. Oh, Beasley went down the block a little too late. That killed the inside line. Shoot, shoot. Outside coming. Oh, and a wrecking behind. Mike Peters in the Raising Cane's, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers mobile. Is he the new fastest chicken in the South? Need we say, has gone around bringing a caution out. And that's going to give us some overtime. Oh, Tyler Dalton got some damage in that. Oh, Jose came up the track. Oh, and Jose came up the track, gets into the side. And the one thing I can't help but watch is Tyler Dalton just took the world's strongest slam. Let's let me get you a better replay of that. Let's hit the stop button here. Get far chase. And you'll see it all happen right there. You can see the 26 just come up the track a little bit, getting into 95. And you're going to see Tyler Dalton get turned sideways. And this is Mark Henry. And that is a T-bone steak. And a 28 for the second time tonight. Probably lost its nose. Oh, nope, there goes the nose right there. Whole front end clip gone. So obviously the winner of this race tonight will start in the 3rd position. And then on down the inside row, and then the next race will have the outside row. We should get one to go this time by as the sun starts to make its appearance. All right, so this will be the last time we actually all chat tonight before the Daytona 500 on Sunday. And I guess I should ask the question, who's going to win the 500 Sunday? Anybody got, I mean, it really can't predict because it's a wild card. I don't think I'm going to accept any answers of rain, even though I think that's a possibility. Now, I've got some, I could start some things. Aaron Thomas, stop copying my kind of answers. The guy that beat your favorite driver. That's good right there. Oh, Tommy Burrito might be hanging out at Hooters across the street. If that happens. Now, La Murella is onto something here. Let me break this down for you. For those who might be into controversy and that kind of thing. Does anybody realize that all of the preliminaries that are going on are all Miami people? DJ Khaled, The Rock, and Pitbull, all Miami, right? So then you think of, well, who's the closest driver to Miami when it comes to where he's from? It's Ross Chastain, correct? I believe he is from Alva, which is somewhere down near the muck of Okeechobee and stuff, and that's literally what it's called down there, by the way. Make 200. All right, coming to the green. It is overtime. If you go to a DJ's a wholesale store, why would you go there? All right, Macklin get a pretty good jump with help on the outside lane from Justin Mons, who's hit everything but the Florida Lottery. Here comes Beasley to the inside. 3 wide up the middle with no help. Contact 4 wide. And wreck it again. And Jose Gonzalez goes around again. Rod Minton goes around again. Oh, see, I didn't know about that place, Burrito. Scott Stenzel goes around, and we're going to try it again. Which, this league normally only has 2 green-white checkers, so this will probably be the last one. Yeah, all jumbled up there. Let's was there contact? Something. Right here. There's obviously contact there. Nah, there wasn't. I see Coleman go up the track. I was wondering if the 26 made contact, but he didn't. You see Radalasso go into the middle. And I think Coleman made a late move to the middle and didn't realize there's 2 of us at the same time going to the middle. And ping pongs him down to Stenzel. Now here comes Mark Henry again. So second attempt at overtime. Let's talk to one of the drivers in the race right now. And I think it's Mr. Comeback all of a sudden here. So let's do a Scala move here and put the jinx on him, I guess, right? At least that's what everybody thinks. I talk to drivers and throw jinxes on them, apparently. I don't know. Hello, Justin Mons.
Hey, Mr. Scholar, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. You've hit everything but the Florida lottery tonight.
You are not kidding.
So, what do we got to do to win this race now?
I don't know. I'm in the best position I've been to do this through Speed Weeks here. So, I've been working really good with Mr. Macklin here. So, I'm hoping to continue that. And we'll see what happens coming off of 4. If the option is there to take a shot for the win, I'll do that. If not, I'm going to try and stick with Macklin to the end.
You have you been talking with Macklin at all, or is there something we could see Macklin start topside here and maybe work with you for the restart, or is it
Gonna plead fifth on that one. Gonna plead the fifth on that one.
That's fair. That's fair. Obviously, you've taken some beating and bangings here. The first 2 races here at the Clash, and then this week, does that kind of hurt the not momentum, but the confidence? There's the word I was looking for. Does that hurt the confidence in you, or are we going to be okay, you think, and knowing, hey, you know what, I'm here, I got a chance to win this thing still, let's go?
No, I actually welcome mistakes being made early in the week and get all that out of the way before the big race. So, learn from the mistakes is the biggest thing. You don't just make them and then just go to the next race and make another mistake. If you didn't learn from your previous mistakes, you're never going to get better at doing this. So, you know, I've had my share of mistakes and bad moves, and my share of the netcode bug, but all in all, it's just been fun. I've learned actually a lot in this race with positioning of the car and being able to break up some cars in the draft. So definitely hoping to use that to my advantage come next week.
For all those with logical needs, see Justin Mons on Twitter. All right, best of luck.
Hey, appreciate it, Scott. Enjoy the show.
You too. I don't even remember what channel were you in.
Ancient World Gaming, sir.
Yes.
Shout out to my people, Ancient World Gaming.
Yeah. Good to hear from them. I don't know what that is, unfortunately. I know it's a sponsor, and we welcome him in. I've never heard of it, unfortunately. All right, going to come to the green, and we're going to try a second time here. It's like Ancient World Gaming is, I mean, is that, I assume that's like Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. Am I wrong? I have to look this one up. No, it's a team. Okay, well, I know nothing. Here we go. Coming to the green. 2 laps to go. Final restart of this race. Is Brian Macklin going to put himself in prime position to potentially win? As Mons might be stuck in the middle. He needs to get down. He chops the nose of Campbell. He almost had himself in a bad spot. That is the one thing I know when I call some super speedway races, I've been starting to preach a lot more of is Wortman gets in the 88, 88's in the wall. And Ali scatter, and there goes Wortman down into Beasley. More cars in the grass. Coleman goes spinning, and they're wrecking. That's probably going to end this race. There's the caution. And, well, Hatcher Colby's going over. And Brian Macklin basically is telling the field, if you're going to win this race, you're going to have to take it from my hands. Mike Kelly will finish second. Jimmy Coleman will end up third. Jorgensen and Mons will end up your top 5. Let's see what transpired here. We got a minute here real quickly. There was the contact between Wortman and the 88. And then there's the Coleman-Wortman contact. And eventually what goes down must come back to the track. And there goes the 28 on its lid. Wortman with damage. Tough break there. But as always, one person's loss is another person's gain, and that person is Brian Macklin, who starts to grab that momentum. The four-peat is alive as Macklin will win dual race number 1 over Callian, Jimmy Coleman, Jorgensen, Mons, Glenn Campbell, Rodelasso, Richard Beasley, Jose Gonzalez, Scott Simley. And again, this is the whole inside row that is setting right here for the race next week. And we'll get a quick word with Macklin and those guys and get set up for the second race. As we'll get Brian here real quickly. Man, the dream's still alive. I was a little worried after last week.
How's it going, guys?
I'm good, man. Obviously, great job. The four-peat's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about this. Daytona's always been one of my favorites, and it's crazy. These guys, they got some work to do to string together some green flag laps, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, talk about that, because, I mean, last week in the Clash, I mean, I don't think you ran more than, 5 laps in both heat races, and obviously we're involved in accidents tonight. You were able to survive. Is there anything you did different tonight to make that happen?
Well, I didn't make it past turn 1 in the first heat race, and then in the last chance race, I barely made it down the backstretch. So
okay, so
I didn't
you didn't
really
make
have
it a lap.
Yeah, no.
I was trying to remember.
I was actually telling Scott before the race started that as long as I could get through 3 and 4, anything else was already a victory. So, yeah, I mean, I was just really patient. I didn't really understand why these guys were being so aggressive in a qualifying race. I mean, I understand wanting to learn, but at the same time, just log the laps so we can get this thing out of the way.
Right. No, I agree 100%. And I think that's one of the biggest keys that people miss on, because they're like, oh, riding on a line's boring. And it's like, okay, yeah, it might be boring the first whatever laps, but you know what? You're there at the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I've won 3 in a row is because I play it smart until it matters. I don't make unnecessary moves or put myself in a bad position until it matters. And I mean, granted, there's been some luck along the way. Last year was crazy because I had 15 or 16 seconds on second place at the end, but you know, you have to make all the right moves and be smart and be calculated and make sure you don't make the mistakes that a lot of these guys were making tonight.
Well, there you go, man. Well, hey, great job. If you want to send some shout outs, go ahead. Otherwise, you start third on Monday next week.
Yeah, man. Just want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Another great season here at Sim500. Thank Personal Comfort. The paint scheme doesn't look pretty because it's not the official updated paint scheme yet, but we'll have that for next week. And I'm also going to be mixing in the American Lung Association again this year, so you'll see that car a little bit, so that'll be a lot of fun too. So, yeah, good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you in Victory Lane for the 4th year in a row next week.
Yes, sir. That sounds good, man. Good luck, and good job on bringing in the non-for-profit there to help out with the Lung Association. So, cool deal there.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
You too. Brian Macklin, the winner of dual race number 1. And I'm just gonna put the logo up. I might even put some music on here for a second, and we'll come back and get you the second dual race here. I'll get Macklin back to his channel real quick, and get you ready for that. What channel were you in? Oh, never mind. He moved himself. All right, so we'll come back, and we'll get you ready for dual race number 2.
What a nice day to install my new mailbox.
Hi there, friend. I'm Dig Safely Man. My job is to ensure you call 811 before you dig.
Why do I need to do that?
Vital utilities like natural gas and electric run just beneath the Earth's surface. Damaging them can cause service interruption, environmental hazards, or personal injury.
I thought only contractors had to call before they dig, so homeowners do too.
Call 3 business days before you dig unless you have X-ray vision. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
We are at Daytona, getting ready for race number 2 of the duels. As we have made it over to the other session, they're going to be setting up the field to go green here in about a minute or two. And of course, this being the guys who all started, or all, I should say, qualified on the outside of the front row and back, basically outside row of the race. For next Monday, of course, Brian Macklin just winning race number 1. So congratulations to him, as he will now start third officially in the race. And Mike Kelly actually finishing in the second position. Let's actually bring him up here real quickly as the grid gets ready to set. Mike, you got a cut, bud? Give him a second to see if his microphone, usually it's a second or two. All right, we'll check back with Mike here in a minute. He might have went and taken a break or something. But gridding, here we go. Let's get the show on the road and get set for the second of 2 dual races. Starting lineup, Kevin King back in the series after a run in the Coke Series. Starts on the pole for race number 2, Nelson Rivera, who could be that spoiler winner coming up here next Monday night. He'll start in the outside. David Comstock, Joey Stone in row 2. Anthony Calantoni, could he be the one that goes to victory lane? Was ever so close to getting that win last season before things just did not go his way. He'll start next to Cody Giles. Robert Fryery to third, Wesley Donaldson there in row 4. Gerald Livingston, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, taking row number 5. Row 6, Kevin Stone, no relation to Joey, and Funky Cole Medina. Jose starting in 12th. Alan Wild, Charles Van Schaik. One of these days, his name will completely show up. I've got everything edited. It just won't show up. He'll start 14th. Doug Sigmund, Randy Yoakum, Justin Fuller making a return here tonight in the 51 car. Will start in 17th position. Now, for those curious, the cars that do not show up tonight, those cars will be set to the back of the field, obviously, in an order that will be decided by management. And that's how they will start the Daytona 500K coming up next Friday, or next Monday night. As we come to the green. Another 40-lapper here. And again, setting the outside rows of the grid in this NCAA 1-1 duel at Daytona. The iRacing default weather as per usual, and so on and so forth. So all right, after a wild race number 1, will race number 2 be calmer? Only one way to find out, and that's right now. Here from Daytona as the green flag comes out, Kevin King, Nelson Rivera. Good opportunity for these guys to see what they have learned. As that Verizon Mustang up there on the top side, that's that Dark Horse Mustang. Just like the start of the race here, we're going to get a complete lap of a train of 2x2. Inside line gets a little checked up there, and Rivera's going to, well, maybe lead lap 1. Nope, the 7 got him. Joey Stone with a sly move. I mean, Brian Macklin kind of nailed it on the head during the interview. For those who Weren't listening? He had some pretty good advice for everyone. And that was simply, just be patient and let the race come to you. Let, ride. You're not going to lose, not going to win the race on lap 2. As Cody Giles in that 5 car inside lane here, as these guys doing what they got to do, trying to push hard and learning. However, back there where you see Alan Wild, that's where I would be. Just kind of hanging out, letting this race come to you. Yeah, do you learn much back there? No, not so much. But that's what practice is for. You had a practice before qualifying. You had a practice tonight. As a matter of fact, these guys had a 2-hour practice pretty much before the race started. And then you got practice before the 500 next week. So you've got 3 sessions to learn what this car will do in a pack. As King pulls out there and he'll lead that lap, so that just shows you how late of a move you can make. And then it goes back to the whole momentum. As Dale Jr. has always said, one thing that made him who he is out there on super speedways is when he had a run, he took it. There was no being undecisive or holding back or anything like that. He made the move when he saw that he needed to make the move. Once again, we see the top side starting to get rolling. First 3 or 4 cars have been able to pull away, but now you see the 7, the 5, the 13. Starting to roll the inside line back up there, trying to get a little side draft, but now Joey just got himself stuck in the middle. No, that could have been bad. He's trying to get a side draft. When you do that, you have to get up there and then get right back down, or else you're going to be set in a sucker hole, and you do not want that. A lot of the leagues you get to see broadcast here in the Captain Esports Network. I always mention the undecisiveness you see in the super speedways. Very easy Monday morning quarterbacking, but a lot of decisions that end up costing somebody a win or even a race car because of a decision is they'll get up there like Joey did and not get back down, and all of a sudden he just hangs out. As you see the 5, oh, they're going to pull to the back. And that just destroyed the inside lane doing that. All but one car, single file now with that checkup. Randy Yoakum in that number 8 car. Of course, a big 811 proponent. He and Stoney Benfield, big time representatives and helping out those guys, and obviously being the sponsor of this series. See if we got Kelly yet. Mike, you got a copy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, buddy. So obviously a second place finish in what was a pretty wild one, and here we're starting to see already, it looked like it could be wild at the start, but then it's kind of miled itself down here a lot. Obviously a lot to learn in that first race.
Yeah, I learned there's a lot of guys that don't mind taking it 3 wide no matter what the situation is. But yeah, I see they're running a lot calmer here in this race. I'm spotting here for Chuck, so
you were.
And I was just commenting to Chuck about, yeah, I was. Where'd my spotter go? I was just commenting to him how quickly this one has gotten into a single file line compared to what ours did. But that race was fun, though, and our race was probably a good indicator of what the last, 10, 20 laps is going to be like next Thursday. So.
Well, either way, it's been wild. And by the way, Scott Simmons down there, so it's not like he doesn't have a spot. But obviously, you guys were able to communicate. I mean, if you're able to share something, what was one thing you kind of told Charles? Hey, be careful of this. Watch out for this when it comes to the track surface or the packs or one thing like that. Is there anything you got from there you're able to share with him?
Well, he actually was in the channel and watching the first race with us, kind of spotting for us. So he saw the chaos and what was going on and what was causing it. So he's actually not even going to be here next week. He's going to be in Daytona at the race. So he's just running this for fun. And that's why I was just asking him, what are you doing hanging out in the back? You might go up and try to lead this thing. You're not going to be here anymore.
Right? Get a sub driver or something. I mean.
Well, yeah, we'll see what he does. He don't have a lot of help, though, unfortunately. But yeah, Scotty and I had good communication in that first race as well to talk about communication. But he's got no help in this one, so I'm just kind of being his eyes up ahead so he can check up in time in case there's a wreck.
There you go, man. Well, hey, great job finishing second there as we watch Charles. Somebody get a sub driver in here. Get in Charles's car, run it. So
yeah, the Exalta Chevys are fast, and Scotty and I got some good TV time tonight and ran up front. So we're looking forward to next week for sure.
Well, best of luck Thursday. I know the GOAT Series is here, and of course you got Monday night the 500K next week. So a lot of practice, and I guess we could add that to the list of things that you've had 3 practice sessions. Well, you've had 3 practice sessions when this is all over with. And a clash and a dual race to get this thing figured out.
Yeah, if we don't know what we're doing now, we're in trouble.
Yeah, no kidding. So, hey, good job, man.
Hey, thanks. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. We'll let Mike Kelly go back to the spotters booth. So, I'm an equal opportunity spotter stealer. Just ask Comstock last race. And Charles doing a good job right now. The Turn 1 Heroes. So that means that we will not have a Turn 1 Heroes sweep unless Kelly or Simley win the race. There won't be 3 drivers and 3 on the team that go to victory lane. We had Simley win the trucks, Kelly win the Xfinity. It was a wonder if you would see Van Schaik go to victory lane, but unfortunately fortunately he'll be in Daytona next week, so might need a poncho. 13 laps, green flag. So far you see the teammates down here, the 7, the 5. Those are all part of a new team that's in the series. Ancient World Gaming Team. I had to look for them for a second over in Discord with Mons. And now they're 3 wide up here, mid-pack. Robert Friery getting kind of stuck 3 wide. And you also saw when we were interviewing Mike there before or during the run, you saw the 13 of Comstock kind of slide up into the wall a little bit, so I'm not sure if that 13 car has any damage on it. Looks like it's holding on to the draft pretty well there as we see some cars dancing a little bit. And apparently, according to Aaron Thomas, Colleague Racing has stolen his spotter. Don't know what that's supposed to mean. As one car has spontaneously disappeared up front here. That is Jose Medina, who is all of a sudden, he's supposed to be there between Stoney and Randy Oakham. I think Jose's disconnected because he has not come back yet. So tough break for the 24. Randy kind of put in that box like, what do I do now? And what that's done is opened up the momentum here for the 13 to 7 to 5 to drop to the bottom here. You see the sun coming out? And that's something about the iRacing default weather is you get clouds, you get sun. You just know. Oh, around goes the 17. He's going to go into the wall, get smacked by the 15 Alan Wild. And caution comes out for the first time. Alan Wild was that other car, I think, that got involved here, but caution out for the first time. As Aaron Thomas in chat saying that Joe White going to spot for 16, and Casey Carrington said exactly what I'm thinking. They probably, have a little bit more money. Slightly. Some reason. Oh, the green cone gets smacked. Thankfully, it's invisible now. Let's go back a little bit further here and see what happens with the 17. So it actually happens next lap here, so we'll just stick here. So whoever's Peak's World is in chat, first off, appreciate you watching. 2, tough break there for the 15 car of Alan Wild. You see one of the many NC811 cars. Question is, did I go back too far? I might have. Yeah, I kind of do. All right, let's try it one more time here. Here we go. It's hard when it doesn't show me like the replay on here and I have to hit buttons. So it looks like the 5 just gets into the side of the 17. They're trying to side draft 15. Nowhere to go as mentioned, and likely some motor damage on both of those cars. But they'll have some time to get it fixed. We've got about half the field coming to pit road here. Probably going to throw some tires on it. Get one more look at this real quick. Comstock gets in line. The 7 goes. Yeah, it's just little meeting there. All right, so caution out. And we will step away. And here from 811 as you're watching the duels here at Daytona, setting up for the Daytona 500K, which is coming up next Monday here on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, 22 laps to go here in Daytona. And first caution out as we see Kevin King, Justin Fuller, Doug Sigmund, Charles Van Schaik, Gerald Livingston, Joey Stone, Cody Giles obviously come to pit road. Alan Wild and Kevin Stone have Well, Wild's actually rejoining the race right now. He's still in the lead lap, and Kevin's going to do it also. So obviously these guys still going to be able to join, but unfortunately for Jose Medina, having some internet issues here this evening and out of the race. Do appreciate the viewers watching tonight, those who are watching now from the first race. Appreciate all you guys, those who have been here for both races, because you don't have really a dog in the fight, as they say. Appreciate you guys coming to join us. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, if you're not new, we appreciate you coming back. Of course, yeah, there's been a lot of updates this week. I know Telder mentioned earlier in chat about the new score bug. It's the same thing. I just swapped colors around and did some edits to it, and had some feedback from viewers and racers. And actually, I'm not completely done with it yet. So by next Monday, you'll hopefully see the finished product and go from there. But I appreciate everybody. The one thing I'll say right now in front of viewers, and now that the viewer count's jumped to 27, I'll say this. Don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. I mean, yes, we all have feelings. But for those who don't know, I did radio for 10 years. And in radio, you got to have some pretty thick skin. Because you do what they call air checks, and you have your program director who sits there and tells you, look, you can't do this, do that, and it can make you feel pretty bad. And they don't mean anything mean by it. They're just constructive criticism, and they're trying to help you out. And then you got, I remember over in Kokomo, about an hour and a half from where I'm at now, I took over for a guy that was on the air for 19 years in the city. He was known as, quote unquote, the voice of that town. You want to talk about having some thick skin and pressure on myself? So don't ever be afraid to say, dude, you suck, or whatever. Pardon my language. Here we go. Rivera leads him back to the green. And Aaron Thomas is something I've been thinking about. Kind of a sprint out start as they've gone single file so quickly. Passed her up to the 4th position. Stoney Benfield. Oh, Randy Oakham's going to get turned off of Kevin Stone. And caution out for the 2nd time. Gerald Livingston with a T-boner. T-bone steak for you. And I think another situation where the side draft in these cars are just playing a role and you're getting netcode from it. See Kevin King to the inside here. Gets up there, tries to side draft the 8, it looks like, or he kind of pulls back down, which is the way you're supposed to do it. And he gets up there again, and yeah, just contact. Oh, and that wasn't a T-bone steak. I'm finding this to be an issue here tonight, is you get these cars that are trying to side draft. I think this is a good time to bring up our pole sitter. Tyler Dalton, let's get him up here as... of course, he's fresh off of a little bit of a hard race there earlier tonight, and he's been helping kind of run the show. But Tyler, the one thing that I think, taking notes on here, and I'm catching a lot of things, is the side draft and how the net code is coming off of it, and the close contact and that kind of thing. Is there anything on track that can be done to keep that from happening? Because you got a side draft to be able to get momentum, right?
Yeah, it's a shame because you really got side draft in this car, especially if you're on the top, to maneuver around. But you've seen a lot of the wrecks that we've had tonight. There's been 6 inches to a foot between the cars usually. And what really sucks too is you can be that guy like Kevin was there on the inside, and you can have the wheel pointed left, and you're turning the car left, and then you get close to somebody, and it sucks you in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you can be like, I swear I, kept it down low, and you see the replay, you think you did because you were turning left.
Right.
It's very tricky with these cars with the air moving around, and then of course with the netcode as well. Something definitely learned from the first duel.
Did Calantoni drop something out there on the track? But no, in all seriousness, though, so is this a situation? I think you brought it up. I can't remember who brought this up. Might have even been Kevin, where the contact patch on these cars might be off from where the car actually is.
It's possible, but you see some of the other side-to-side contact look like it's like normal, so I'm not sure if it has something to do with the side draft that's causing the netcode. But ever since the latest patch, seems like maybe the netcode's been a little bit off. Well, normally you would think, okay, they updated the models, so maybe the models are off. But these were two Chevys, so should be the same.
You would think, yeah, you would think. So I mean, it's interesting because netcode is simply just you got a computer or the network thinking that the cars are where they are, right? I mean, in comparison to where they actually are on track. And in this case, it's just more of just the way the coding is that's creating some kind of issue, it looks like.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with this particular package because, I mean, the runs and stuff that you get in this car at this track are just insane.
Right.
So maybe it's like the netcode calculation is falling behind because there's not really as much time for it to calculate what's going to happen, so it overestimates.
Right. Interesting. Well, obviously a lot to learn here, and you get to start on the pole. It makes you wonder if maybe the smart thing to do next week is to kind of ride a little bit and get to the finish knowing that you're not going to be able to be aggressive until the end.
Yeah, I mean, I know the duels haven't been the cleanest, but last year, the duels were pretty rough. We got the Daytona 500. I think we had 2 cautions.
Right.
You've seen these guys leading at this rate win a single file. I think you'll see a lot of single file for the large portions of next week, and I think it'll be a much cleaner race. I do feel like maybe the bottom is at a little bit of a disadvantage. I think the top is where everyone's going to be trying to get to, which is up until the next gen was always sort of the opposite here.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens, man. Appreciate your time. We'll let you go do your thing, but interesting thoughts on what could be happening with the package. So appreciate it, bud.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Tyler Dalton, the pole sitter next week. And, I mean, for those who have a science calculator, you probably understood what he meant in all that. So, going over here to chat real quick. Casey Carrington, who am I calling out? I was trying to read this while I was talking to... Because apparently Casey's got a new friend in Mike Peters in the 95 car. By the way, as I said last week, if you've not had a chance and there's a Raising Cane's chicken place in your area, I got to eat it for the one time when I was in Georgia when it got built there. Pretty good food, by the way. Just going to put that out there. All right, green flag coming back out. Look who leads. Wesley Donaldson there behind Nelson Rivera. Gets the good jump. Oh. Anthony Calantoni up to third. And Wesley's got a real good run, and he and Calantoni working together in that Sim500 Mafia channel. As Donaldson said, he's kind of politically grabbed a whole bunch of drivers and either threw sponsors on there or whatever, and he's going to grab the lead of this race. Stoney Benfield almost, I think he did get caught out of line there a little bit. He and Rivera had to check it up. And look at Doug Sigmund down there, the 04 on the bottom. Justin Fuller, that's him in that blue and black, the units 51 car. And that's not units as in like measurements, that's units as in storage units. All right, so I'm supposed to call out Long John's James Silver. So, all right, James Silvers, get in here. James Silvers, of course, runs Friday night in Casey's League. That's who Warriors, by the way. And I've been told to call James Silvers out. So there you go. James Silvers, get in here, boy. Logan Quinn watching in chat tonight. I forget what Logan does, but I think he works with the WBD ICAST people. As 5 grinds off the wall a little bit there. Joey's going to try to help him, but just too much momentum. All right, let's, I want to grab Mons. I want to bring, actually, who else is down in that channel right now? Half these names are nicknames, so I don't know who's who. So I'm going to get Mons back up here with me. And I'm bringing Justin up here a second time, only because, one, he finished 4th, so great job on his part. But could you explain to me what this Ancient Gaming World is?
Ancient World Gaming is
yeah.
an organization, esports organization, that is owned by a former NFL running back, Mr. Antonio Williams. And we have competitive teams in the COD market. We have competitive teams that are getting together for Fortnite, and then we have us with the iRacing. We're starting to really branch out and get some really talented teams together. But yeah, we're a up-and-coming esports organization.
Now, are we talking about the 19-year-old Antonio Williams that played at Clemson?
Antonio played at Ohio State.
Okay, so it's a
went
different.
on to play for Buffalo Bills.
Okay,
yeah.
this Antonio Williams. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. There's 2 Antonio Williams. That's what I was like. Okay. He played Ohio State and North Carolina. Okay. Yeah. Young guy.
Yep.
So yeah, played for the Giants.
He's a business entrepreneur now.
Nice.
Good dude. Very good dude.
There you go. Well, that's cool. I figured I would just check in, and I'd heard of it, and I know I kind of made a joke. I was like, what is it? I didn't know if it was an actual game or what it was. So that's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you explaining that to us, and all the best to the team as they come into iRacing, and I hope you gave them a warning.
Yeah, this is their first go with Sim500. They've heard a lot from me, so they're excited to be here. I know that for sure. If you look at your chat, Miss Weeks is our CEO.
Miss Weeks.
I'm sure she's probably active. If she's not in there, she'll be active when she can.
All right. Well, Miss Weeks, if you're watching, appreciate it. If not, then well, when I see you next time, I appreciate it. But Justin, appreciate you, bud. Go back and help that 7 and 5 car.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You too, buddy. As Justin Mons finished 4th earlier and gets the rare double dip. Ancient World Gaming team. So Wesley Donaldson leading 2 cautions so far in this race. So Logan Quinn is the Alex Bowman. Oh, and there goes a car around. I turned and somebody's spinning over in the backstretch there into turn 3. And I think it's Randy Oakham. And he's down there by himself right now and likely will not trigger a caution unless this other car of Alan Wild gets to him. And there he goes by. So there goes that idea. So we're going to stay green. So Logan Quinn is the Alex Bowman of WBD ICAST. He at least he explains he's somehow on the team. I was going to make the joke of like dating different blonde women or something each year. At least that's what I hear. I don't know if that's true about Bowman or not. So look at the bottom side. Here comes the 7, the 17, the 5. Working that bottom side. And again, you got to be very careful here because the way that this draft has been working, we talked about it with Tyler, the side draft has been dangerous. It's like playing roulette, almost, if you will. The inside line has gone to work and gone to the lead with Joey Stone being pushed by Kevin Stone. No relation. It's like the Colemans. We got 2 families that aren't families. Casey Carrington, that's for the iRacing gossip site. That's the forums again. We discussed this. 9 laps to go. There's Calantoni, who I think is going to be another guy you could watch come next Monday night. He is going to be in it to win it. Got his first Xfinity Series win last season on a super speedway. Was right up there battling with Macklin for the win last season in a 500. Before things unraveled. But that top side looking pretty sporty. Now it's Comstock with a side draft. I mean, there it is right there. You saw how powerful that was. He pulled the 77 back with help from the 23, and like I said, it's playing with roulette there. He could have easily have turned him. As Fuller gets in the outside wall there a little bit. Jose, I think the reason why Joey didn't jump up there. Oh, here we go. There's the contact. 4 wide. We're going to go 5 wide. Oh, no, they're going to wreck. Benfield into the wall with Rivera. The reason why I think the 7 didn't jump up was because his teammate in the 5 was down there in the bottom still and didn't want to hang him out. Oh, Nelson. Well, he took the nose off. There's Miss Weeks. Congratulations, all you guys, on that. That's pretty cool. That's a good deal. So it all starts here with a little bit of contact right there. Wow. It actually happened in front of where I thought it was going to happen. Let's see, because I was watching Stoney and, or not, Robert and the 23 there, but you're actually going to see the 22 get turned. Let's go far chase. And see what turns the 22. Ah, there's your netcode. Again, everybody's trying to side draft, and it's so dangerous. I thought there was going to be netcode with the 77, but it ended up being a 22. It's okay, Miss Weeks. We were unaware of who you were until Justin actually just talked about you and said, "Hey, you're the one of the cool people of the group or whatever." So, and apparently you watch. So, but I can understand what you're doing. So appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Appreciate all the viewers watching here tonight. Kevin will be back with me tonight, or next Monday night. Kevin being a New Jersey Devils hockey fan. He and family members went to a 3-1 victory over the Seattle Kraken tonight in Jersey. So he's going to be pretty happy, Kevin is. He'll be back with us next Monday night here for the Daytona 500K. Unless something goes wrong tomorrow, we're actually going to record the podcast. We usually do it on Mondays, but we're going to record tomorrow with some things going on with one of our hosts. I don't want to go into details about it because it's his business and things, but we're going to record it tomorrow, and likely, if everything goes right, Chad Coleman will be our guest tomorrow. That I'm a little scared, to be honest with you. For those who have not listened to the podcast yet, you should. There's 5 episodes for you on, of course, the YouTube page here, or on Spotify, over on iHeartMedia, or even on Podbean. But for those who know Matt Telder, one of our co-hosts, he and Chad, you could say, have similar personalities when it comes to expressing their feelings. As Wesley Donaldson going to take the high lane here, and I was wondering if Calantoni was going to move down or we were going to just bring the imaginary choose cone in or something. As we're going to go green with 4 laps to go. So I'm curious to see how Chad's personality mixes in with Telder's. I mean, Telder already became friends with Kevin England last week when they were talking about short track racing and stuff. That was a fun combo. But yeah, I mean, if I ever get told I had to have a censored episode, it better not be this one coming up, is what I'm going to say. Because I'm pretty sure Chad's not afraid to say what's on his mind and stuff. So I'm looking forward, though, in all seriousness, to hear Chad's story about him, about like how he got it in the racing and you know, what it's like to have, what was it, 1,100 and something starts here in the series now. Check that number right now. 1,180 as of right now. So by next week, he should have like 1,184 or 85, something like that. Tyler Dalton needed a 15-second delay. In radio, it's funny. They have a dump button. Most like markets, like most stations, like the bigger markets especially, have what they call a dump button. A dump button. I know in Rochester we did, in New York, but which puts like a 7-second delay on the radio and allows you to, like, if somebody drops a bomb or something like that, like word-wise, you can hit the button real quick and you won't hear it on the air. As here we go, green flag, 4 laps to go. Fryery jumps up to the top and leaves Calantoni back to Comstock. Kevin King joining back in the battle on that 29 car. Comstock bottom side. There's the 5 of Giles. And here comes Fuller, who turns Fryery. Caution's going to come back out, and once again, the side draft bites somebody. Speaking of dump buttons, I'm pretty sure we're going to need one with Robert Fryery here in a second. I mean, it's literally a suction. Push the 77 clear, and he's going to get to the left rear, trying to pull him back. And unfortunately, it pulls him over. Boys, we might have ourselves an issue come next week. The problem is, like Tyler and I talked about it a little bit ago, I don't know if it's a fixable issue. Unless there's a patch update or something. So these guys are literally going to be playing with fire every time they get beside somebody, because they're going to have a chance to take somebody out and themselves, if not create a big pileup. And I honestly don't know how you fix that, especially in a league setting. So we're going to get overtime again, as Nelson Rivera, new nose and all, going to get the wave around. Tom Greedo, yeah, no problem, man. You guys earned that win last week in the Clash, you and Wes. I don't remember exactly what I brought up to to give you the shout out, but if that's what it was, congrats. All right, so we're going to try a green-white checker here. 2 laps to go. Next time by, we'll get that. 1 to go signal. Now, for those on the Sunday side, by the way, should mention that we obviously did not have a race yesterday. Part of the big game that happened yesterday. Of course, taking that Sunday race off. And we'll be back at it next Sunday night, Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I just have to check. Tyler, do you guys, is this, I know right now on Sim Racer Hub it says the new one. Are you guys running the new one or the old one next week? Or has that not been confirmed yet? So hopefully the rain will not get in the way of the Daytona 500. Old Atlanta, thank you. So it will be the old Speedway, so we'll have some fun on the old surface next week. And hopefully the weather, which does not look promising at all right now for the Daytona 500, doesn't get in the way of that. But as we all know, the weather in Florida, they have a motto, and that's, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. All right, so I believe Kevin King is the leader of this race. After the issues with Fuller and Robert Friery, Justin Fuller going to be second. Donaldson is fourth there outside with Cody Giles on the inside. The 84 Calantoni, Kevin Stone back in this race up there on the top side. Been fun with you guys there in chat. All right, let's try it. First time, overtime. You get 2 attempts. Top 5 now, single file. Top 6 single file, and Calantoni is getting shuffled. Seven jumping out of line. He's been pretty aggressive with that move all night. He has no help though. They come through 3 and 4 to the white flag. Final lap, if they can make it here, they do. Every man for himself now. Wesley Donaldson, second position. Are we really going to see this potentially again? Top 3 have kind of separated themselves Fuller's got the fall back to somebody. Wesley trying to push Kevin King as they try to get some momentum. Here comes Comstock with a run. There goes somebody for the infield, Van Schaik. Wesley going to pull to the bottom, blocked by King. King back to the top. And all of a sudden, here comes Calantoni with Wesley Donaldson. Contact. Wesley Donaldson does it again. What in the world? Is in this 91 car? The other question, where did Calantoni come from? I mean, he was dead in the water. We're going to show you the results of the race over on the left side. Still working on the results page to get that all edited up. So there you go. Donaldson, Calantoni, Fuller, Friery finishes 4th. Great job by Robert to come back. Anybody getting dizzy from the wall hits? Wild comes back to 5th. Stone 6th. Giles, King, Yoakum, and Sigmund. Let's go back to the last lap there because a lot happened. I mean, here, let's start here. Let's go back here to Calantoni real quickly. Anthony Calantoni is back at the top of the picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's the 12th place car entering this entering this picture right now. Here we go. So the outside line got checked up by somebody. I think it was a 5 got the wall. And right here, Calantoni goes to the middle. Nice block by Kevin. And unfortunately, 23 gets sent to the grass. I mean, look at the run here. Wesley comes down the track. There's the contact. And yeah, I mean, everybody wrecks pretty much there. We'll go to a... He literally got doored. Oh, Joey gets clobbered by the 23. Everybody's just trying to get what they can get here. Backup cars for all. Everybody checked out the infield care center as Wesley Donaldson goes to victory lane twice now in speed weeks. I mean, trying to think this through here. If I remember this number correctly, is it 4? The amount of drivers who have won all 3 events in speed weeks in history? I can't remember. But Wesley Donaldson is potentially going to be one of them as he goes to victory lane here tonight again. And making us look pretty good on this prediction during the podcast, saying you might be one of the breakout guys this year.
Yeah, I actually I heard that on the podcast. I appreciated it.
Who said that? By the way, was that me or Telder?
Well,
Or Kevin?
You said it first, and then Kevin said something along the lines of like the championship 4, like making could win the championship, and I was like, that might be a little steep, but I mean, I appreciate it either way.
Hey, I couldn't remember, to be honest with you. It's been a long week, but man, great job, obviously here, the Wild Racing there, and I mean, Cal and Tony comes from the state of New York back to the front and get you the push you need there. Just go through those last couple laps there.
Yeah, so I mean, even going back to that previous restart, him and I, like, we'd been working together really good all race. Him and I just work really good together in general. But we kind of messed up that last restart, got us kind of shuffled back, and then didn't think I was going to be able to get back with him. But on that last start, I literally just planned on pushing Kevin pretty much as far as as long as I could. And then when we got so far out there, kind of getting down to the end of the back, Jason's yelling in my ear that the inside line's coming with Fuller. So I was trying to block it the best I could as he's trying to block in front of me. Just blocked it enough to kind of slow Fuller down and managed to get all the way down to the bottom. And I look in my mirror and I see a Talking Giants logo right behind me. So I know he came from pretty far back on that last lap too. So it's kind of crazy how we ended up lining back up together. But was scared I was going to get turned there, but I'm glad it worked out in the end.
Well, obviously, it was a fantastic race there in the end. A little different. I mean, there were some similarities there with race number 1. But we're obviously seeing the big issue looks like the side draft net code looks like is going to be an issue unless something happens over the next 7 days. Is there anything on the track you guys can do? I mean, obviously, everybody's got different scenarios and different things going on the track, but is there anything as a league you guys can do to try to prevent that from happening when it comes to on track? Because I know rules wise that's its own thing, but on track at least you guys can maybe police it.
Yeah, I really don't know how you'd actually police that. I mean, I think it's just letting everyone know, just be aware that that can happen, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're all kind of dealing with the same thing at this point. So you got to kind of, it's a risk and reward. You'll end up ruining your own race by doing it sometimes. So, but it's really important because, like I kind of mentioned last week, the second you pull out, you really need that side draft to get by the guy. So it's that double-edged sword that I think everybody's just going to have to be aware of and not be, extremely aggressive with.
Right. Well, it worked out for you tonight, man. Congratulations. Welcome to Victory Lane again, twice now. I'm trying to do the names in my head here, but I know Bill Elliott's one of them. I'm trying to think of drivers in NASCAR that have actually done the Clash Dual 500 win in one season. I think Bobby Allison's another, but it's not many.
Yeah, I kind of had a thought about that early in the week. I'm like, oh, what if I can do that? Well, now we're 2/3 of the way there, and next Monday is going to be a tall task. There's a lot of really fast guys in this field, a lot of really good plate racers, and I mean we haven't had 40 plus cars on track at the same time yet, so it'll be a whole new animal. But we'll try as hard as we can and hopefully end up in the same spot.
Well, as long as I don't hear any stories about you wearing the same pair of underwear 3 straight weeks or whatever, we're good. So
I can confirm I've wore different underwear than I did last Monday.
That's good.
So
okay,
don't got to worry about that.
All right, good. All right, congrats and send some shout outs.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody here at Sim500 that helps put this stuff on every week. Thanks to 811 for sponsoring the series again this year. Shout out to the Sim500 Mafia for helping out there, especially Anthony. And shout out to my spotter Jason for being in my ear again this week. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with me for the 500, so that'll be a little extra thing to deal with there. But yeah, and then shout out to my Instagram page WBD Diecast, where I make custom diecasts, and thanks to Coleman, Beasley, Brown, and Parker for all running the logo this year.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and you'll start 4th on Monday of next week.
Yep, we'll see you then.
You too, buddy. Wesley Donaldson to Victory Lane for the second time during Speed Weeks here tonight. at Daytona. So congratulations to him and going to victory lane in that race. And, of course, Calantoni ended up finishing second. And I think Calantoni might have left. Yeah, looks like he's gone. So big shout out to him for finishing in second tonight. And Justin Fuller finishing third. I think he's gone too. So, yeah, a lot of these guys checking out and going to go get ready for the race coming up here next Monday. So, all right, well, it's a good little run here tonight. Appreciate everybody joining us here this evening. Oh, that's right. Okay, now I remember you, Logan. Okay. If you ever need advice on wrecking the field, let me know. Appreciate everybody watching here this evening. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Brian Macklin and Wesley Donaldson, who have won the dual races this season in Sim500. The season is officially underway next Monday night at Daytona. We'll be back here ready to go with Kevin England, of course, in the booth with me, and we will see who can pull it out in the Great American Sim Race, if you will. But let's go enjoy the rest of our week, enjoy the rest of our Monday evening, and always remember this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation.
From the Captain Esports Network.